And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, those in between or neither, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host. And today, well, as you can probably see in front of you, we are going to do our 4.3 banner test run and possibly pull a fun. I've got a chunk of primos and I do want Yoimiya and Shivers, so probably it'll be a pull a fun. We'll see how things go. But the 5 characters that we have to work with today are the Raiden Shogun, Yoimiya, the newest character Chevrus from Fontaine, Sara or Kujo Sara, who I genuinely think is a Tengu, but we can save that discussion for another time, and the old but unreliable Bennett. Let's start with our first 5-star, the Raiden Shogun. I do wonder what build they have for Shogun because she is the Archon of Versatility. And the reason I say that is because if you need her as a DPS, she can be a DPS. If you need her as a support, she can be a support. If you need her to fit a very, very niche role, she can probably do that if you have the right combination of artifact sets and weapons. It's fine. Uh, so, yeah, well, she doesn't provide much in terms of benefits while traveling. I like to call her the Archon of, well, being versatile. Yeah, so let's take a look at what we've got here, because this looks to be... I don't even know what this team is. It's part Overload, part Electrocharged? It's very weird. But we've already seen Xingqiu, Zhongling, and Bennett's builds before, so let's just take a look at Shogun before we begin the trial. Excuse me. For her weapon, we've got Engulfing Lightning at level 80, which makes sense. And then for artifacts, we've got a full set of Emblem of Severed Fate. I think this might be... I think this just might be a standard DPS Raiden, which I wouldn't be surprised. Keep in mind, I cannot see what the substats actually are. However, if you want to go for like a Hyper Bloom Raiden, you can still use Emblem. You just have to make sure that your stats and substats are tweaked just a little bit. But without further ado, let us swap into our Xingqiu, because that's probably who we're going to start with, and kick some tail. 9 opponents this time. Zhongling. We're going to do Bennett. And then we're going to go into Shogun. This might also be support Shogun too. But since Raiden is kind of known for dealing a lot of damage, we're just going to drop the mini burst. Goba. And then we're going to do Shogun on our next target. Let her go. She's doing a wonderful amount of damage. I don't even have to go into her supports mostly. Granted, I say that as I go into Benny. And the main reason I'm doing that is more so that way well, the only reason I'm switching into the other characters is to give them a little bit of screen time. Whew. Fun, as always. actually really enjoyed that, and I do wonder with Bennett being one of the 4 stars showcased, I wonder if they're going to switch up his build at all. Considering that Bennett is one of the best supports in the game, not though. Granted, this is also Genshin Impact, the game where if you really, really like a character, you can find a way to build them and make them work for you. So, it, yeah, it's one of those details where if you want to build them, have fun with them. If you don't want to, that's completely fine. We're almost done with the loading screen, and then we can get to Yoimiya's trial, which that's gonna make me real happy. I'm kind of hoping they either do an overload or a melt team with her. Just because that's kind of what I want to do with Yoimiya, so it'd be nice to see what they actually go with. So we have 20 more primos that go towards Yoimiya, some old hand guards, which will be nice to have, and some Amakuma fruit from Sarai Island. I wonder why it's that fruit in particular. I don't know. Maybe it makes good mochi. Or not, well, mochi, dango. Not the same thing, but similar in concept. Uh, now we have Yoimiya, or as my co op partner and I like to say, the Tommy gun. The reason is the reason that we call her the Tommy gun is that Yoimiya does not have a range. She makes up for it in just attack speed. And considering that her skill is a pyro infusion, oh, so they actually did a vape team for her. I don't know if that's the best call, especially because they don't have any sort of shielder in here. But that just makes me annoyed. So we have Bennett, Xingqiu, which you've already seen before, but in addition to the roster is Miss Yunjin. Now the reason that Yunjin is here is because Yunjin will actually buff normal attacks. So in this case, since Yoimiya's main method of attack is her normal attack, Yunjin is a perfect companion. Okay, so she's got prototype Star Glitter, which makes sense. You can also put Favoni's Lance on her, and if you really want to have some fun, put the catch on Yunjin. Because Yunjin's burst is a buff, so it technically makes that buff better for the next character. I am hoping to pick up Yunjin during Lantern Rite, so I'm going to be doing a similar composition to this team. Are they doing Husk for her? Yes, they are doing 4-piece Husk for her. Mainly because with most Geo characters, the higher their defense is, the better they do. So, let's swap into Xingqiu. Need to get some Hydro going, and we'll go from there. So we flip into Yunjin, buff Yunjin, set up the Pyro Infusion, and just spam it. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention, what does Yoimiya have for a weapon and her artifacts? We are running a level 80 Thundering Pulse, and for her artifacts, it's a 4-piece shim. You could also do a 2-piece with Crimson Witch to boost her pyro damage even higher, though it's not really necessary. I just gotta make sure that I don't. Of course that didn't. I wouldn't. set up water swords. Considering his nature's got sacrificial on him. Engine, if you could do your flags. Fully aware. I just. Where's the target? There's the. Don't scare me like that, man. Yeesh. And the other reason that they did put Benny in here is because Benny actually boosts pyro characters. So basically, he's just making Yoimiya's attack even better. Set that up. Engine. Do your thing. Ah! Don't go off the edge. Finish that up. Perfect. Whew. Yeah, that's the one main thing that I don't like about the arena during the test trials is it's not completely enclosed. So if you're not careful, you end up falling off, and yeah, I've done that more than once. It's just not fun. All right. And while I'm here on the test screen, the next stream will probably be either Friday or Saturday. I don't know which yet. And I also don't know what I'm necessarily doing for that stream. It's probably either going to be Pokemon Zeta or something related to the Switch. So keep an eye out for that. Prima Gems, some Divining Scrolls, and Knockaweed. Granted, I'm growing that in my teapot right now because I know I'm going to need it. If I manage to get her, that is. So, now to the 4 stars. Starting with Chevrus, a overload supporter. So, we'll have to see what she's running, because in most team compositions she might just be the support role. In fact, all 3 of the 4 stars at this point are typically used as supports. Alright, so let's take a look. And yes, Chevrus is also a polearm user, not a gun user. So she's got Rightful Reward, which there's healed, restore 8 energy. That's actually really useful. And I was right, this looks to be an overload team with a 4-piece Songs of Days Past. So the 2-piece set will actually give a healing bonus, and this will actually give a damage buff with the 4-piece. That's that's a lot. Now Lisa we've already seen before. Official, which is still running the 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Thundering Fury. It should really be Golden Troop. Just saying. And then Toma, who's our Noblesse user. And what are you using as a weapon, sir? Okay, so you're just using the Chitin Cross Spear, which is the craftable for Inazuma in the polearm category that I still need to find. Alright, so I don't know how to lead off here. So we're just gonna go in as Chevrus and see how things go. Probably should have started with Oz, though. That.
Come a little closer.
set up my bolts. Oh, it works. Kind of.
Fire it up. I got you covered.
Trevor's burst. Lisa's got her lantern. That'll buff hackers. And let's get you out of there. Trevor's. You're doing fine, but your damage is kind of slow. So, drop eyes, and we're gonna drop violet bolts. Where's the last? There's the last target.
You're in for a little shock.
So drop the lantern. Drop that.
Fire it up. Got you covered.
I mean, this is working relatively well. Relatively, all things considered. Ah, there we go. Challenge done. And I didn't fall off this time. Even better. If I do get Chevreuse and if I do get Yumiya, they are going to be on the same team together. I think Shinobu would actually have been a better fit. I think. Just because with Sanctifying Ring, not only do you get some healing on the active character, but it also does AoE electro damage, which is very nice to have. So we'll just collect what we have, some machine gears, some luminescent bells, and go on to Kudosara, the Lady Tango. Man. Dun. And again, this will probably be a support turned damage dealer situation, but I don't know, considering that Sara, her main role is to buff electro units. Alright, so let's see what we got. We've got Lisa as our damage dealer, Zhongling as a damage dealer. Not showing you those two because you've already seen them before. Weapons, we've got Sackbow on Sara, which means that there's a chance that she could use her skill twice, which is very nice. And for artifacts, you're the Noblesse user. Okay. And then we've also got Barbara here to serve as a healer, which is nice.
The duty of it.
So I'm going to start with Barbara because then we can just set up the healing and go from there. Oh, deep breath. Start our challenge. 19 opponents. Drop that. Drop Goba.
Come a little closer.
Yeah, we're gonna drop the Tang. I don't know. We're being healed. Bad news is we're relying on Lisa for DPS.
You're in for a little shock.
Which it's doable, but
Try not to enjoy
not.
this too.
Tell you this much, it's not exactly ideal.
Strike! No turning back.
3. Drop Tornado. Making some progress. Barbara, why is your skill so
Come a
slow?
little closer. Quiver! More into the shoulder!
There we go. Perfect. Well, not perfect. That was actually quite messy. But better than nothing. I didn't fall off the edge. Which, to be honest, I'll take that. And our last one is Benny. I'm going to check Benny because I don't know if they switched him to a more DPS centric build or if they kept him with the standard sapwood that he usually has. Restaurant, Sarah, claim the material, which is nice to have. Alright, Bennett, let's do this. Might put him on a virgin team? Now that I'm seeing that, but it's just because I'm seeing that. Alright, let's see. This is literally just the reverse of the. Okay. Weapons. Okay, he still gets sapwood, and he's still the noblesse user. Okay.
Benny's adventure team, assemble!
And he's just hard to get mad at. Then we'll swap into Goba, set up water swords, and Lisa. Lisa's gonna be our primary thing because Benny is a support unit.
You're in for a little shock. Surrender and I'll be gentle.
Drop Goba, drop Tornado. And John Ling being the literal Archon of pole arms.
Witness the power. Come a little closer.
I'd rather you stay away. There we go.
Everybody stand! Know my soul. Ring cutter.
Just gotta be careful to not get frozen, that's all.
Get them!
Of Xiangling. Yeah, that Cryobus mage just had a very bad day. And our test runs are now complete. Overall, good, I'd say. I'm not quite used to Chevrus or Kujosara, which that's a me thing, not so much a character thing. And if you don't have a Pyro or an Electro DPS, I would highly suggest pulling on these banners because even if you do get the 4 stars, you at least have solid supports, or at least you have supports that you can eventually work with. And the weapon banner is not as helpful because you get access to Raiden's weapon, which is Engulfing Lightning, and then you get access to Thundering Pulse. Engulfing Lightning is certainly the better option in terms of what the more versatile of the two weapons are. It's also a case of bow versus polearm. So it all down to your playstyle. But with our pole chart waiting the wings, it's time to get to the random part of this. Let's do some polls. I'm cautiously optimistic, and the reason I say that is because we managed to get Navia in 20. And that was after losing the 50-50. So I'm basically starting from scratch. I I will be cautiously optimistic. Let's start with our first 10 poll. Yes, that's mine. We got ourselves a 4-star. Which 4-star did we get? Trailing Tails, Ravenbow, Sharpshooter, Benny! Okay, we got Benny, which is cool. Cool Steel, Gate Club, Skyrider, Magic Guide. And I'm not exactly mad that I got Benny because I'm actually going to be building constellations on him at this point.
Oh, ow.
Ow.
Where did that come from?
I think this is C1 for Benny. I think. Alright, so we've got Bennett. No 5-star, and I know it's a constellation on him. I don't know if it's C1, which I will go back and correct. We will do a character banner. And now, our second 10 pull. We're dipping into the Primo reserves. Let's see. Star? Okay. If it's another Benny, I'm gonna be interesting. Lion's Roar. That's a good one to have. That's a good one. Thrilling Tales. Another Thrilling Tales. Magic Guide. Another Magic Guide. Another Catalyst. Alright, so Lion's Roar. That's gonna be a refinement on Lion's Roar, because I know I've pulled it before. Okay, so that's an R2 for Lion's Roar. Lion's Roar R2. Oops. Would help if I actually put a 2 there, huh? Character. Don't want to close that out. Alright. Master with Starwater and 30. Here we go. Four-star. Being stubborn. Another Bennett. Okay. Anyone else? Because I've gotten as many as 3 4-stars before. I think it's just Benny. It's just Benny. But that's okay. Because we're building constellations on Benny, which is not a bad thing. It's not a great thing, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. Character. Oh, I can only do a couple more. Please, Yoimiya, please. Really? I can't get too mad because this is like C4 now. If I manage to just C6 Benny in this string, I'm gonna be super surprised. Okay. Okay, hang on. Before I do more wishes, I need to see. I need to see how many constellations do you actually have now? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have a C3 Bennett. Okay. And with that correction made, that's C2. Oops. Renosuke. Any idea when your daughter's coming back? C3.
Osmanthus wine tastes the
okay.
same as I remember.
Yes, strongly. I'm fully aware of your frickin' Osmanthus wine. Let's see. I feel like we're getting close. Nope. 4-star again. Sword, sweet. That means I've got an R5 Fab sword, which is lovely. Raven bow. Raven bow. Slingshot. Sharpshooter. So yeah, Operation Goldfish might not be a success, but I can't exactly be mad. Because I'm still getting stuff that I need. Alright. Here we go. 5-star, 5-star, come on. There we go! Now, is it Yoimiya? Or is it somebody else? Fav. Sword. Puts me at an R5 for that. Or at least it's either R4 or R5. Either way. I will mark which refinement it is later. Character. And 4-star for this is Chevreuse. I will check the spelling on that later. Quad Chevreuse. Ravenbow, Slingshot. Now, there is a chance that I've lost the 50-50. So, before I continue, the 5 stars that we want, if I lose it, they're going to be off the standard banner. So the ones that I'm particularly looking for, Dea, Luke, Jean, because I don't have those 5 stars yet. And then I would not mind Tignari, Kaching, Mona, because I would be building constellations on those characters. The only 5-star off the standard banner that I do not want in any capacity and I don't know what to do with is Chi-Chi. Now that I've said that, I feel like I jinxed myself. We don't have to worry about it. Lovely. Just, I gotta do it. No, that's a terrible photo. much better. Operation Goldfish is a success. That just makes me so happy. And we also got Chevreuse. So I've basically ticked off everything I want from this banner set, with some Primo Gems still in reserve. I am very happy indeed. And I think there might actually be a duplicate Fab Sword, which is even better. Mm. I am so happy. And I know exactly how I'm going to build her, too. I just have to get lucky on the. Well, getting refinements on Rust would be nice. And then I need to figure out which artifacts I want to go for and which domains I want to do. Still, we've got her. Oh, oh, we've got her. And it literally took almost everything. uh, Considering that 4/4 is Lantern Knight, I think I'm gonna hold off on spending the Star Glitter. Just to see what I want, and then with the Star Dust, I'm over 1,000. So that those fates are going to refresh in the next month. So that'll be nice. Mission accomplished, boys. On that wonderful note, we're going to end today's stream. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it, even though this is one of the shorter streams. Please make sure to leave a follow and ring that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I go live. On the YouTube channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe over there so you don't miss a recap. VODs are typically up within a day or so. It depends. Particularly generous, I do have a Ko-Fi link in the About section of the Twitch channel and in the description of the YouTube videos. You don't have to donate, but any money generated through that link will go back toward the channel in some way, shape, or form. Additionally, I've got a couple fundraisers that I want to draw. Well, yeah. I've got a couple fundraisers that I want to draw attention to. Keep in mind they might not be up, but if they are, I still want to draw attention to them. The first is for an artist friend of a friend by the name of Anne. She recently had dental surgery done, and where we are, that is expensive. So any of the money now would probably go towards that medical bill and or other expenses. And the other is for a streaming buddy of mine. His car recently just died. And the man's already working 2 jobs. So if you want to help out with that, there's a you will find both of their links to their fundraisers in the About section of the Twitch channel and in the description of the YouTube videos. Did I cover everything? I think I did. I hope to see you guys sometime this weekend. I don't know what I'm exactly gonna do, but I'll figure